What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Ricky Mars, man. Welcome to the Relapse Part 2. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like my videos. I'm just gonna get into it. We left off, I had overdosed, got my ribs cracked from the chest compressions and the Narcan. And this is crazy, like, for my real fans that have seen my music video, Cold Air Balloons, there's a scene where my buddy is Narcanning me on the couch, right? It's part of the music video. That is the same place where this overdose happened and I got Narcaned. Like, I wasn't on the couch, I was on the floor, right next to it. Crazy, life's full circle, right? So yeah, we're gonna get to it, man. So I'm just going along with like what I remember, and as I talk about it, like I remember a little more stuff. So, I was dating this hippie chick, right, from Nashville, and I had relapsed already, and so that started, falling apart, her and I. Like, she'd never even seen a heroin addict before, like met a heroin addict before, let alone a fentanyl user. And like, for like a while after that didn't work out, I was like, like F her, like how could she do this to me, because as addicts, we play the victim, right? It's everybody else's fault but ours, right? Like 99% of my problems I caused myself, right? And of course she broke up with me, dude. Like, I do meth one time and like lose 10 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, I look terrible. It's very unattractive. Like, junkie chic. I mean, I like the junkie chic women, but it's unattractive, really, period, but especially on a man, right? So I was living in this apartment in Altadena, and my roommate is still sober. Like, she had like 8 years at the time, and so like right after that overdose happened, like I was taking the Green Hulk Xanax bars, like real ones, pressed alprazolam powder from the dark web. You know what I mean? Not the fentanyl bars. And I had the apartment to myself, right? She was in Greece for like 2 weeks, so that's all bad. Like, I spent all the time alone, just barred out, right? And like how this breakup, like the girl that I was dating, like hadn't known that I relapsed yet, right? And how she found out, I don't remember this. This is what she told me. I don't know if it's true or not, but it kind of sounds like me when I'm using, right? She had hit me up on FaceTime, like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And my room was a mess, kind of like this. I need to fold my clothes. And I'm like packing a bag, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I have to go to the airport. Like, I have this really important podcast in New York City. I have to be there in 2 hours. It's a 6-hour flight. Like, I'm not going to make it." And I'm freaking out. And she's like, "Dude, like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not going to a podcast. Like, you're not going to New York. Like, what?" And then she asks me, she's like, "Whatever, like, I'm over it. Like, are you okay? Like, you seem like you're having a mental breakdown, right?" And I'm like, "No, yeah, I'm Gucci, right?" Like, and she asks me, I do remember this part. She's like, "Do you eat fast food?" And I was like, I mean, not really." And she's like, "What's your favorite thing at McDonald's?" Right? And I'm like, like back in the day, my whole diet for 2 years while I'm shooting black tar heroin was I'd get the 2-for-1 like McDouble cheeseburgers. And so I was like, "Yeah, the McDouble cheeseburgers, no sauce, extra pickles," right? And she's like, "Oh, cool, like noted," right? And we get off the phone, whatever. She drives from like Venice Beach 45 minutes to my place in Pasadena, and she knocks on the door. I didn't know. I thought it was like someone dropping off the mail, right? So there's a knock on the door. I go and open the door, and it's her, right? And she comes in my room, finds like all the foil, all the syringes. I have like a black stain on my face from, the dirty fingerprints from the foil, right? I hadn't started dabbing fentanyl at this point. I didn't really have much of a tolerance. I would buy like an 8-ball and smoke it on foil, and a ball with, 3.5 grams. Well, it's weighed out differently, right? Heroin and fent is weighed out differently. A ball is 3 grams, a quarter ounce is 6 grams, a half ounce is 12 grams, and a piece, an ounce, is 24. If you got a cool plug, 25 grams, right? So I'd smoke a ball of fent in about a 5-day period. And it progressed. Later in my run, I was smoking about 2 grams of carfentanil a day when I was dabbing it, and about 3 grams of regular fentanyl a day. So she finds all this shit in my room. She's like, we're fucking done. I call my sponsor, well, now my old sponsor, and I'm like crying, like, I love her. Like a bitch, the bitch that I am. Women are my kryptonite, man. Like, they will spin you out of control if you let them. Don't have expectations, y'all. They will spin you out of control faster than dope ever will. You know what I mean? And yeah, so I call my sponsor. He picks me up to take me to a meeting. I pop more Green Hulks. I do not remember this, but I guess we go to like a huge speaker meeting with like hundreds of people, and then we go out to a really fancy restaurant later, and I nod out in my bowl of French onion soup. It was French onion soup. And he was extremely pissed off at me. So like her and I, that was kind of like the end of it. And for months after that, it's like a blur. So Ryan Leone, I hadn't talked to Ryan for a little bit, but I told him like, hey bro, I'm using again. He's like, are you about to use, or like, have you started using? I'm like, I'm using again. I've been doing fentanyl. Right, and Ryan at the time, this was, God, man, my memory is shot. There was some chick, for all you Ryan fans, that was like posting all this ridiculous, untrue stuff about him, and like his kids and Karina and whatnot, and like Ryan he confided in me a lot, I was his only friend that never burned him, dude. And he was telling me like, yo, this chick, you know who you are if you're watching this. Trying to get CPS involved, like ridiculous. He was calling me like, dude, like, what should I do? Like, da 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 da. And God, what a blur, man. People were leaving comments on YouTube saying really rude shit, and like that was kind of when Ryan stopped posting. I remember, because this was 2021. Ryan died July 2nd, 2022, and Ryan hadn't posted for probably about a year on YouTube because people were leaving disrespectful comments, and it got to him, It got to him, and ultimately I think that had something to do with his demise, like he really just like let himself go. So I get kicked out of that apartment with like the AA roommate, right? And my friend Ryan had just moved into his place in Hollywood, and he was letting me store like all my stuff there, like my mattress, like my Tempur-Pedic pillows, all my clothes, my furniture, right? So I moved it into his garage, and Ryan was smoking crack, he was doing meth, he was doing ketamine, he was doing GHB, he was drinking, he was doing a lot of everything. And I was homeless for a little while my stuff was being stored there, and I moved into this trap house in East LA. It was a house, well, I made it a trap house, right? Started doing all that dirt again, and that is when I really started hitting bottom. I was ordering stuff off the dark web, carfentanil, like the purple car taffy. Sometimes it was green, sometimes it was gray, sometimes it was orange. And I don't know, this stuff is much, much more potent than regular like white rock brick like Fent that you have to crack with a hammer. You know, like this shit, imagine like a frozen Laffy Taffy, right? That was the consistency. Like I had to put elbow grease into like, I had a saw blade and put elbow grease into cutting this shit, right? And that's the consistency of it. Like you couldn't snort this stuff. Like regular Fent, you could crack a piece off a brick and crush it enough into powder where you could do bumps or lines of it, right? This stuff you could dab or smoke on foil, right? Like, or you could break it down with like alcohol, like Everclear or something. So it would break it down into a slammable form, so you could only inject or dab this stuff and I was moving the other regular Fet and smoking this stuff, and like my friends that would come over, I wouldn't even let them hit it because this shit was so strong, dude. And I remember thinking like, because I was already done after a while, like I had gone to detox, insurance didn't cover long enough, they kick you out after 5 days, I'd still be sick. And I was like, how? Because I tried just with like Subutex and Suboxone and Methadone, and I was still so sick. So I'm like, yo, like this drug is so new. They don't even have the proper like medical treatment or medication to detox off of it. You know what I mean? And you literally have to, like, if you're doing Carfent, you have to taper down to regular fentanyl, taper down to black tar, and then from the black tar you can start methadone treatment or Suboxone treatment, right? So a hippie friend of mine put me up on game with how to kick this stuff, right? Fully synthetic opioids, so i.e. fentanyl, methadone, right? There's a prescription medication that is non-narcotic. If you take enough of it, it does get you high though. It's called Lyrica, pregabalin, Pregabalin. It's in the same family as Neurontin, gabapentin, but it's like gabapentin on crack, right? And this is the only way, like fast forward a little bit, like when I ran out of dope or didn't re-up or whatever, Lyrica is a miracle detox pill. They need to use it in treatment centers. It works much better than Suboxone, much better than methadone. And the detox off that is just like, you're kind of tired for 3 days. It's great because what it does is it's prescribed for fibromyalgia and severe nerve pain, right? So what happens when you're kicking fentanyl, right? Like every fiber in your body, every nerve in your body is screaming at you like, so you take some Lyrica, it soothes your nervous system, and you literally, I was taking about 300 to 450 milligrams twice a day. So like 2 capsules in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. And I felt minimal to zero withdrawal symptoms, man. Like straight up, I'm not lying to you. There's more info on it now if you Google Lyrica for opiate and benzo detox. There's some information on that. For those of you watching this that are strung out and trying to figure out how to stop, there's a little free game. You still feel the depression a little bit from the detox, the opioid detox, which is normal. Insomnia, but the Lyrica pretty much gets rid of all the cold sweats, heat flashes, all that, and gives you a little like euphoric buzz. So it helps tremendously for fentanyl withdrawal more than anything I've ever taken. So I want to say, like, Ryan and my relationship were weird. Like at this point we both knew we were using, but like we'd meet up and I'd lie and be like, nah, I'm sober again. Or he'd be like, no, I'm sober again. And we lie to each other like that. You know what I mean? Because, like, I don't know. We had a kind of codependent relationship, man. Like, even when I was sober before, I'd drop him off at detox and he'd leave. And, like, Ryan never gave himself a chance to even try to be completely sober. Like, he did great when he was on Suboxone / cannabis maintenance. But, like, imagine how successful he could have been if he just got sober. He'd still be here, man, with his family. I miss that guy, man. I was just watching one of our interviews earlier on YouTube, the when rappers do heroin, Ryan and I's interview. It made me cry. I had to turn it off. So that's how our relationship went. Like, in that run, so from 2021 till he died, so in that like year period of time, I talked to Ryan pretty much every day on the phone. Like, he'd call me and like we'd literally talk for hours on the phone. But I saw him maybe like 10 times in that year, you know? I'm gonna leave it right there. It's after 15 minutes. This is part 2 of the relapse. I will get into more of it in a few days. 38 days sober, y'all. Much love. I will see you soon.